Good morning. He honey washte. Epivawana. He honey washte is in Lakota. Good morning. Epivawana is Cheyenne. And good morning is English. Just want to say good morning to all of our friends and relatives out there. Thank you for joining me this morning. My name is Lynette Tubles, Duenya Kiapiwi, Scouts the Way Woman. I'm coming to you from Lame Deer, Montana, and this is our headquarters for Yellowbird Lifeways Center. And Yellowbird Lifeways Center is a center for healing, wellness, empowerment, leadership, really reminding people of an internal knowing and guidance that we all have so we can reconnect to it and reclaim ourselves, reclaim our sacredness. And we do it through reconnecting to all of our life ways, our traditional life ways. And that's our languages, reconnecting to, we say, land, language, culture, identity. And part of reconnecting is food sovereignty, reconnecting to our traditional food systems, but also, we utilize both contemporary and traditional practices. And so today, our program, we're focusing on gardening because we're moving into gardening season. And we're located in Montana. And for us, our growing season is very, very short. And so today we're talking about seed starting. So I just want to thank all of you for joining us. If you have any questions or comments, you can write them in the comment section on the page and let us know where you're joining us from. I always really enjoy that, seeing all the diversity that is on our page. And so I want to say that I never claim to be an expert. I love gardening, and I grew up with a garden by my grandparents. And so everything that I share with you is just really things that I have picked up and I have learned and I am still learning. And that's one of the things, we say is that the older we get, the more we realize, the less we know. And so if you think you know everything, I think you have a lot to learn, because we can always learn. We can always pick up something. And, I'm always opening to learning more. And so I'm just sharing the information and what I have learned along the way. And so I just want to welcome all of you. And before we get started here, anytime I work with seeds, planting, anything like that, I like to be in a prayerful mindset, in a calm mindset. And because anytime you're working with seeds, these seeds really represent our ancestors. And especially if you're working like with corn and squash and beans, and pretty much, you think about our ancestors when they planted. And I know to a lot of tribes, corn is a real important food. So you think about the memories that our seeds carry. And that's really powerful to think about. And so anytime I'm working with seeds, working with the earth and gardening, I always like to start out by centering myself through prayer, meditation, whatever you want to call that. And so I'm going to do that this morning by burning some medicines that we have, a mixture of cedar, sweetgrass, and sage, and some other medicines that we have here. So I'm going to do that because it the essence of that, the smell of it really reminds me that I'm spirit and that I'm connected to everything and that I'm connected to, the plant nations and the animal nations. And I got my little skillet here so you guys can see that. I'm going to bless myself off. Ask Creator to help me be in the right frame of mind to be able to share with you today. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me that time. And I encourage all of you to do that, create your own practice to help center yourself. And one of the most important things when working with our seeds is really patience, and gardening, is patience. And anytime you work with these seeds, I had my helper. She works with me, and she happens to be my niece. But I had her sorting through seeds, and we order bulk seeds. So she was separating them into the packets. And I told her, when you do that, it's very soothing and calming. And she said it felt, very soothing and calming to her. So that goes back to, our seeds and gardening, planting, all of that really helps heal us. It helps us to be present in the moment. And now there's so many studies out there that say, the earth heals us, the soil, when your hands are in this soil, it heals us. So I just wanted to share that this morning. So what I have here today, we're talking about, and the other thing I want to say is I want to greet all of our elders out there. And I want to tell you, if you are an elder, how important you are to us. And, I want to encourage everyone to take care of our elders. This past year, we've lost so many elders and so much knowledge. And so that's why it's really important for us to learn from our elders and to, listen to any stories that they share. And so I wanted to say that, and I also wanted to acknowledge all of those out there that are mourning. I know in our community here, there has been, numerous people that have gone on to the other side, and they always go in groups. And just this past week, we've had quite a few. So I want to acknowledge, all of those out there that are mourning. But, life, focusing on life. And really when we're planting seeds, that's what we're doing. We're focusing on life, and it gives us hope for the future. So when we're planting a seed and we watch it germinate and grow, and it pops out and then it starts growing, like that is life, that is hope. So just want to share that this morning as well. So what we're starting out with starting seeds. And I'm going to take a drink of my coffee. I've been so busy. This is my first cup of coffee, so bear with me. Food is life, coffee is life too. So when I first start out, what we're starting out with here is we have a food sovereignty garden program here on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation, and also surrounding our homelands here, and community surrounding. And so anyone that wants to grow a garden and start, we provide all of the seed, supplies, support, education, all of that. So this year we're giving out starter kits. And so that's what this is. And I'm just going to, and I try to set up here where you can see this. So this is this is what we decided to use. It's a Jiffy Professional Greenhouse Starter Kit. So that's what this is. So if you can see that right here. Okay, and it has a lid, it has the tray. You want to have a tray with whatever you use. So this is what we're utilizing. But I want you to know that like this is just something that is making it easier for us to distribute on a large scale. But you can utilize, there's so many things that you can utilize to start your starter plants. I've utilized these before. So our egg cartons, all you have to do is just, create a drainage, just put a couple of holes in the bottom of each one of these. You can use little, like the yogurt cups, the little yogurt cups, you could utilize those, put holes in the bottom, get a tray, it could just be one of your oven trays. You can utilize that. So water is at the bottom when you, or you can, here's another set of seed starter pots. So these are like, you put these, you're supposed to be able to just put these in the ground, just cut this and put it in the ground, plant it in the ground, and then it disintegrates into the earth. So that's what you're supposed to be able to do with these. But, in my experience, the experience I've had, it kind of, sometimes it takes a long time for these to break down. And so all of your roots are just condensed and then they get like into a ball and they don't have room to grow. So when I'm using these, even though it says that you can just put this in the ground, I always like to just cut it down a little bit, and help it out so it breaks down better. Or even sometimes I'll just take them out of there and plant it directly into the ground. So those are all things that you can use. There's so many things that you can use to start plants. And I know online there's all different types of ideas. So this is what we're using today. And in our kit, so we give this Jiffy professional growing kit with these little, let me see if I can pull one out. So this is what it looks like. You can see that. And it's like a little round pod, disc shape that's hard. And I was like, how is this going to grow? Before I knew what this was, in the past, I thought, how is this going to grow any seeds? It's so hard. So what you have to do is with these, so I already started some. Each one of these little pods will take about an eighth cup of water. So they're in this little, if you can see it here. Okay. So they're in this container where water will hold in there. And so each one of those, you want to put about an eighth. And I kind of do it gradually. Just put it in there and monitor it and then put a little bit more. So eighth of a cup is just a general idea. So this is, oops, there's water. So this is an eighth of a cup. So it's not much. You don't want to get it sopping, soggy, wet, but you want it moist. So you can, test it out with your finger and see moist, but on average, that's what it is. So that's what an eighth of a cup is. And so I started some of these, I poured them in earlier. And so this is what, I'm going to pull one out of here. So see how it's expanded. And it has this little netting around it there. And so once it's expanded and soft and moist in there, like these, I might need to put a little bit more water. And the other thing, so in our kits, this is what we give out, this Jiffy starter kit. And we're also including a water spray bottle because it's like you have more control when you're dealing with small little plants like this. Sometimes when you use big containers to water, you don't have control of it. It just pours out. And so sometimes a spray bottle is really good. You have more control over it. So just to expand these a little bit, I'm going to spray them. So each one of our kits is going to have one of these as well. And it also has the seeds that you need to grow. And so whichever ones you want to start out with, whichever seeds, it's really important to get them in right away. Like once we get these out, we're going to be distributing these this weekend. So I'm going to be putting a notice out, and tomorrow we're going to, if people want to pick theirs up, we're going to allow them to do that. So you really should get these in right away, because you know, some of these need at least, let's see, 60 days, you know, for the plant to start coming out. In about 60 days, that'll be the end of May. And because of our short growing season, that's kind of when we start planting anyway, like, you know, the mid part of May to the end of May is when we usually plant, because there's still a chance for it to freeze. Okay, so that's what I'm just spraying a little bit more in there and allowing that to soak up a little bit more. So you can also, I'm going to push that to the side. And I'm just going to show you. I'm going to make a mess. I'm in my kitchen, on my kitchen table, so I'm going to make a mess here. And it feels so good to have your hand in the soil. So I got some potting soil. So I'm going to just put it in here. So you can plant in these too. And this is always really good to include your family, and especially kids. Like kids just love this. And that's why I wanted to do this, to give out the starter kits, because kids love to plant, and they love to start seeing the seeds go in, and then for it to grow, and then they have their hands in the soil. And so this, you want to use potting soil. And there's a difference for those of you that are new gardeners. There's a difference between potting soil and garden soil. So potting soil is what we use for things like this, or if you have indoor plants, you know, that's what you use potting soil for. But garden soil is what you're using out in the garden. So say you have a garden box, and you can use garden soil out there and indoors, like what we're doing. Okay, so I just want to also encourage you to make sure you put the holes in here. I'll do that after. I don't have a knife here with me, but so you can do it this way. So I'm going to be planting, and here the soil is already expanded, so we don't really need to do that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to spray just to moisten our soil. Okay, I'm going to spray that. And then what I have here are sunflowers. So when you do these, so with our Jiffy kits, we also give out instructions. So we have, you know, instructions too. So anybody out there, you can come back onto Yellowbird Facebook page and you can watch this again, or we have instructions here that we'll be distributing with all of our kits. And so what we want to do here is, I'm going to put some in here and I'll put some in there as well. So these are sunflowers that I'm going to use. And I love flowers. I love to grow flowers. And sunflowers, you know, they take a long time to come up, and they take a long time to grow. But once they're out, and they grow really quickly. So what you want to do is put about 3 of them in there. You want to put about 3 seeds in there. I'm just gonna. So you know, and always read the instructions on these. So this one says you want to put into a depth of about 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to just put 3 of these seeds in here. I'm going to push them down to about 1 inch. And then I'm going to cover it. So I don't know if you guys can see that here. So I'm going to, and I think I'm going to, in this tray, I think I'm going to plant all sunflowers. So I know what it is. So that's the other thing that you want to do is you want to be able to identify what your plants are. So in this Jiffy pot, they have, or this Jiffy kit, they have these, but those aren't enough if you're planting a lot of different varieties. So I would suggest maybe getting like those little sticky labels, and you can put them on the side and identify your rows, what you have planted there. So that's what I have. And, you know, if anyone out there also, the avid gardeners and the more seasoned gardeners, if you have any other suggestions, you can also put that in the comments as well. So, and I'm putting like 3 of them in here. Okay, so that's what you want to do. And these sunflowers are, they're a blend and they're really beautiful. All of the colors. I love all the colored sunflowers. And I think, was it last week I shared on the program, if you guys were on, I shared about sunflowers and how they say that sunflowers, they, if you ever notice like sunflowers turning towards each other, and they say when it's sunny, the sunflowers turn away from each other, you know, and they absorb the sun and absorb all that energy. But when it's cloudy and cold, the sunflowers turn towards each other. And so they face each other. And, you know, we can always learn so much from nature. And that's one of the lessons is, you know, for all of us, when it's beautiful and everything's going good and everything's going good for us, you know, we can just enjoy that. But if we're going through a hard time and the clouds are out, you know, there's a storm in our life, just like those sunflowers, you know, we can turn towards each other. We can turn towards our friends and our family and those that support us and that encourage us and uplift us. So we want to find people like that in our life that are there to help us with that. And I'm just going to cover these a little bit more with some soil. Okay, so we got that one done. Those are all sunflowers. And I'm going to spray them a little bit more because this soil looks kind of dry. You don't want your soil sopping wet. You want it moist. And a lot of times you'll have to get your hands in the soil to figure out what that is, to see the difference. Okay, so these ones are all sunflowers. So over here, I'm going to pull this back. Another drink of my coffee. Okay, so right here we have these little. Okay, yeah, see how big that grew? So what we're going to do is we're going to just pull that back a little bit, the netting that's on there. And I'm going to fill it. So this, yeah, it's moist. So what I'm going to do is next, I think I'm going to plant some. So here, I love to plant plants that are unusual. that you don't see a lot of. And so I'm always, growing different things like tiger striped tomatoes. And so this one is a purple cauliflower. And I love that. It's so beautiful. And so I'm gonna start some of those and see. This is the first time I'm starting them. I always get, we get, so the other thing that's a part of our program is in May, we have other people that are growing our starters for us, like professional greenhouses are people that are very knowledgeable in growing, large quantities of seeds. So we have those people growing our plants for us. So then we're going to provide all of those plants in May. So about mid-May, those should be ready. And so, but this is the first time I'm going to try these. And I might just do one row of these and see what happens. So I'm going to put 3 seeds in here. And these seeds are really small. Okay. And then I'm going to cover them up. Okay. Put some more, just a little bit, just to make it a little bit more moist. So I see these other ones are not as expanded as that one I just planted. So I will just continue to do this, put more water in there and let them expand a little bit more. And, now you know what I mean when I say it takes a lot of patience to do this, but the rewards are so amazing. So I'm just doing like one side of this, but I'll do this all weekend and get all of this whole thing planted. And I might even get some more planted because I want to do a couple of trays of just flowers. So, and I have a little greenhouse out here as well. So so that just gives you an idea. I'm gonna let this grow. So this is how big it is. This is one that's expanded. So that's how big you want it to be. So if it's not that big, you just keep adding water to it. So I'm gonna let those other ones expand and do that. And then what you wanna do is you keep, make sure you always want to test it, make sure if it starts turning light brown, like the soil in these, then that means you need some water. So just spray, again, just keep spraying them. And then once you have this all planted, everything planted and the soil is moist and everything is in there. And so you also always read the directions. So these are peppers. I'm going to plant some of these peppers, these sweet peppers. So always read the directions on the back too, because it gives you some good tips. It tells you what you want to watch for, how deep to sow them, all of that. So always read that. And then after you do all of that, then you're going to put the lid on because these need moisture. So what this does is it keeps the moisture, inside. And then you want to put it someplace where there's, you don't want direct sunlight on this. You want sunlight, but not direct sunlight. So you can put it somewhere where there's a window, but not directly in front of the window. So until, it germinates and it starts coming out, then you would want direct sunlight after that. But it still needs sun. So make sure you have it in a place, that does get sun. So, then that's what you're going to do with this. And the same with this. So I would suggest these, there's different, be creative, so this needs to stay moist. We already planted those sunflowers. It needs some sun, but we also want it to, the heat. So when we have this on, it captures the heat. So there might be some other things that we could maybe have some clear lids, like clear plastic lids, or, something you can put over that to trap the moisture inside of it. So, you can be creative. There's different things that you can do. So pretty much that is it. And then when it starts growing, you're going to have, you're going to start to see, first it's going to germinate, then you'll start to see it peek up. The plant will peek up out of the little pod there. It'll start coming out. And when it does that, you want to remove your lid and keep, when all of it does that, you see all of them up now, and they're starting to grow leaves. So then you want to take this off. You want to take the lid off, and then you want to put it in direct sunlight, and then just keep watering it. So again, if the soil is light brown, you want to make sure it turns dark brown. So then you want to use your bottle, or you can also use a watering can. But for me, I think this is like the best option. So in these packets also come a little, these are vitamins and nutrients for seedlings. So it gives you instructions on how to, I think you put this packet in a couple of gallons of water. So I just mixed a little bit in here, and then I put this in the spray bottle, and that's what I'm using. So it's going to provide some vitamins for the plants. So yeah, so that's starting seedlings. And let me see. So in every kit that we give out, we're going to have our instructions, and also the instructions for the Jiffy pot, but also we're going to have other general instructions. So we created a seed starting guide. And so we're going to have this seed starting guide up on our website for any of you that want this for new time gardeners. I encourage you to go to our website and you can download it, and it's a PDF file. And also we're going to have, there's some spring gardening tips. So it just kind of gives you some ideas what you should be thinking about now. So here, the starting guide, it's just going to walk us through, kind of what I shared this morning, and it has some more detailed information as well. And it's pretty intensive. It's pretty thorough. So it tells you, just step by step everything that you need to look for. And so we try to focus on with our food sovereignty program, we focus on organic gardening. And so we really don't like to use chemicals or anything like that on our plants. So even like our potting soil and all of that, we try to buy organic. And because we don't want those chemicals, to come up into our food systems. And so, that's what we focus on. I'm just going to take a look here to see if anybody has any questions. And what are some of you out there that are gardeners, what are some of the things that you do with planting your seed starting? Okay, somebody said that they use, I like to water my seeds with herbal tea that's left over from the day before. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of different ideas out there. So yeah, so all of you can look in the comments too, and there may be ideas from other people. Yeah, so So anyway, these are the kits that we're giving out. Oh, and so we do give out soil too. So say we give this to you, and we'll also give you a bag of potting soil. So if you do have cartons like this, like I have a ton of these. I save these all year, and I keep them so I can give some of those out to the people here in our community. You can use. There's just a variety of different things that you can use to grow plants. So we give out potting soil, we give out this. This is just the starter kits. And this with our all of our instructions, our seed starting guide, the directions for this Jiffy kit. And then we're going to be moving into, other things with our program. So once everybody filled out a form and a survey, so we get a really good idea of what everybody wants in their garden, what seeds they want to grow, what kind of garden they want to have. And I know a lot in our community, they want to have a combination of raised garden beds and in the ground planting. So a combination of both of those. And so, we'll help people design their garden based on the seeds that they have. And so our future shows are going to talk about some of those things like garden design, also like companion planting, what you want to plant together and what you don't want to plant beside each other. A lot of that is really common sense. But we'll have people on that will talk about all of that. And then let's see, what are some of the other topics? Okay, so we're going to be moving into that phase. And then we'll take a survey of the land where they want their garden. And a lot of the people, they've been in our program before, so they're set with their garden, but maybe they just want another garden box, a raised garden bed, so we'll look at all of that. And then we focus a lot on, well, maybe it's because, with my garden, I really want it to be a space that feels good when I'm in there. And so I really focus a lot on the layout of it and the beauty of it. And so with our program, not only do we provide these seeds and all of these kits, and then we help with the fencing. A lot of times we do need fencing because we have a lot of, maybe you're in town and there's a lot of dogs around. And that was a really big issue with a lot of people, dogs, other neighbors' dogs, or even their own dogs getting into their garden. So, we help with the fencing, providing the fencing, and then the starter plants. Oh, and all the soil. So we utilize, originally we kind of followed an organization that we worked with that has horses, and we did a lot of work with them in regard to horses and working with the spirit of the horse. But they had a program, and we've since utilized some of those teachings where it's called equiculture, where you utilize the manure from the horses. So everything is like that circle of life, everything's connected. And so, we have horses, and we have a horse program. It's called horse medicine. And so we utilize our horse manure. So we have piles that go way back, like 10 years. And so we go back to the furthest back, and we use that soil to provide for all of our garden beds. And say someone needs fertilizer, they just need a touch of fertilizer. So we'll do that as well. So that's what we utilize that for. And also like a liquid, this organization, they created a liquid compost or a liquid fertilizer. And so, that's what we utilize as well. And we give that out. So some of you that have been involved in the program, it's we would just, put it in jars and give it to you. So that's what we use, a good fertilizer that is organic, doesn't have all the chemicals in it, but it has all the nutrients the plants need. So that's what we do. And then from there, we're moving into our starter plants. So the starter plants that are being grown by other people in greenhouses, then we'll bring those and we'll distribute those out as well to the community. And then from there, we just provide support and education. So we're going to have a series of classes for, that will outline all of that and especially when you start planting into the ground and when you do that. And we do it from the new moon to the full moon. So that's when we'll start planting everything into the ground. And we always have to be mindful of frost, because it can still freeze here through May. And so I encourage everyone out there, wherever you are, always to watch the weather. And especially if you're in areas where it's cold, like here up north. And so we always have to pay attention to the weather and where it might freeze. And if you do have plants that are already in the ground, just make sure you cover them so they don't freeze. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that I might have missed in regard to seed starting. So that should give you a good base, a good idea. And I didn't want to take up too much time today, but I just wanted to share that. So I want to wish all of you a beautiful day, beautiful planting season. And always remember to start out with prayer anytime we're working with our seeds. And even if you're new to gardening, just do it. It's such a beautiful feeling, and it's going to make you feel so good. And if you have children, include your children. Even just start some seeds inside and see what happens. The best way is to just learn, just to do it. And you're going to be learning as you go along. So, yeah. So I just want to thank all of you, those of you that are on. Thank you for joining us this morning. And you can come back and watch this again too, or if you want to share it with your friends and family. So have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next Saturday.